Hi everyone, a very good evening. Hope you all have been well and hearty as always. It's after a very long time we are meeting again. Just a bit disclaimer, kindly ignore any background noises if you're hearing. And if you can't ignore, but just ignore. So today I want to talk about grief. What is grief and how it's absolutely absurd and foolish of us to understand grief. Don't even try to understand grief. I mean, grief is something, if it strikes you once, it's one of the strongest emotions. I just had a word with another friend of mine a few days back, which can move mountains and it can take you, if you have to see from a societal perspective, the drive can take you at heights and it can also make you stoop at your lowest. Grief has many faces, I personally believe. It's not only sadness and crying in a room, sleeping, or, losing interest in life. Grief comes about in shapes, in forms that you cannot even imagine. Grief at times comes about in the form of anger. Grief comes about in the form of self sabotage. Grief comes about in the form of self doubt. Grief comes about in the form of repressing yourself. Grief comes in the form of you wanting to control your life and at the same time not wanting to take any accountability for life. Grief is also something which can make you move mountains, and it is also something which can make you stoop to your lowest. So, to understand your grief is like, you know, trying to touch the sun and reach the sun. If you want to reach near God, you have to undergo grief, you have to feel the pain. If you want to understand yourself, you have to sit with that pain. If you want to understand someone else, some other entity, you have to touch your own lowest. So, grief, when we say we are grieving over a loss of a parent, over a loss of a job, over a breakup, over a divorce, over any other failure, rejection, or whatever which shakes your identity on the whole. So, grieving also has its forms. It's not always sitting and whining, and so is healing and coming out of grief also has its forms. It's not always going to therapy and journaling. No one decides when you'll go through it, and no one actually decides, not even you, when you'll come out of it. It will hit you in the most unexpected ways. At times, people who've done nothing wrong slash bad to you, it will, your reactions will speak volumes, the way you treat them. And then at times you won't be able to recognize yourself. Oh, was that reaction by me? Yes, it was by you. For somewhere perhaps, even if you did not imagine yourself to be that ever, and you do end up behaving in that way, it was all grief. Grief makes you people please because it sometimes brings fear of something so traumatic happening again. If you've lost someone dear in your life, it will bring about fear of abandonment. It will bring about fear of losing people, and that will make you people please, and that will make you go away from your own self. that will make you repress yourself. Now, people pleasing essentially, if you're doing, doesn't necessarily mean that the former person is bad and then you are in seeking validation, though all of us need validations in life. We have to accept that fact. None of us is God. But not claiming your right to live the way you want, not claiming the natural right which the God has given you, not claiming the freedom which you own, but trying to make sense of what has happened, how it has happened, and why it has happened. Every emotion you're going through in and around, which makes you question your life, which makes you question your existence, is somewhere driven by that grief. So I guess you can just accept there is grief, but you can never understand what is grief. A lot of you'll be saying, "Bahut zyada," the word is coming. What is grieving? What is grief? And once it has hit you, it's absurd. It's too idealistic to think that your identity won't be shaped by it, your personality won't be shaped by it. It will be. But what only matters is what is in your hand is how much of it you are able to give it its power. And let me explain what do I mean by that. Grief will always be in your heart till you die, if it has come once and if you've felt that pain. But are you letting grief control you? Is the question. To run away from it is not the answer. But to accept it and explore what is beyond it is the way out. So, just for an example, if someone has gone through multiple hurts, multiple betrayals, rejection, or whatever we say, the entire sense of self is questioned, and then a person is redrawing it from scratch. Perhaps at times we don't know who we are once grief strikes, because it essentially shakes your perception of the world. But when you're redrawing your identity, only this much part has to go to that grief again. When you're rebirthing, when you're being reborn in the same body, when you're working on yourself, you're becoming more self aware, you're learning how to take accountability for your actions, and being very mindful that you don't do what was done to you. You're bringing in that compassion. Then at that moment, that grief has to be given a small place. Like I said, grief can make you reach mountains, but grief can also make you stoop low. And I feel in the initial phase when you're dealing with it, it always makes you stoop low. It fills you with fear, it fills you with self doubt, it fills you with confusion, it fills you with anger, it fills you with wanting to hurt people, it fills you with the victim, the question, why me? But once you've accepted that it's gonna be there, then the other side of it is equally beautiful. It makes you reach heights. It makes you understand and perceive the world, the lens, the wisdom it gives you, which perhaps no one can see it around you in a way. It makes you more tolerant. At the moment, maybe no, because we are all, what do we say? All of us are just work in progress. But after that, once you try to understand yourself, not understand grief, understand yourself and understand where it's coming from, you learn to forgive yourself also and you learn to let go. So, letting go can only happen with acceptance of that grief. And all of this will take its own sweet time. There's no set bar that you'll reach the other side in 1 years, in 2 years, in 5 years, in 10 years, but eventually you will. And if at any moment you encounter people who are not able to understand you, who are not able to feel and get the depth at which you're processing things, then don't be mad and start questioning, like, if I'm wrong, or the other person is not able to understand me, or the former person doesn't have empathy. Because believe me, all of our timelines are different. None of us are operating on same timelines. Someone has seen success in their 20s, someone sees in their 50s, someone sees in their 30s. All you have to do is take one day at a time. But that progress, that willingness to do, will only and only come with the acceptance of the grief and not always questioning whys. Like, I have been the biggest person and I'm still recovering from it. I'm not some emancipated, enlightened soul talking to you. I also have questionings of whys, why this happened, why this person came, what was there, went into astrology, went into tarot, numerology, racked my brains. But the answer just remains one, just acceptance. At the end, you will give up, you will accept, and then you will just do the justice to your existence, as to like how you're living. So don't try to figure out grief, just live with it and accept it. And the moment that acceptance comes, you will see yourself in a very different light. You will see others in a different light. You will understand life in a different light. And after that, wantingly or not wantingly, you will actually realize the humility of the human. We all say, what is God? We've never seen God. That's the moment you will feel, even if it's 0.1%, you will get to know what is God and why God is not being seen. When we say God is within us, God is in everyone, yes, we all read these things since childhood. Treat, one another with respect, treat one another with equal, you know, love, what you give to yourself. Reading is one side, intellectualizing all of this is one side, but living and feeling it is another side. And being an example to lead your life by these principles is another side. And you can lead with these principles only when slowly the acceptance comes and then you surrender. Don't control your life. Take accountability, yes, decide for it. Have the courage to fight. Have the courage to fight, stand up for yourself, but without any hope that what you expect would exactly work out in that way. It won't. So that's it. That's all I wanted to talk about. Anyone who's grieving. Because grieving doesn't have just one aspect, grieving always has two faces to it. One is the most ugly, stooping down, filled with negative emotions. And the other one is full of surrender, love, unconditional love, not the attachment. Attachment is again the ugly side of it. I'm talking about the surrender one. I've been a victim of it. I shuffle between attachment and unconditional love, and at times it comes for me to give it to people. You'll have better boundaries. You won't be in the space to hold, possess, and you will also learn how to respect yourself. And you'll also be self aware, and you'll also get humble as to where you are in your journey of grief. Yeah, I hope I made sense. And this video, even if it helps just one of you, I'll be glad with that. Thank you so much, and I'll see you all very soon again. Bye.